Hello. So, last class, we seen about the arrays and strings. So today we will see about the oops concept. So first I will give the total overview of the oops concept. So what is oops concept? So what are all the concepts we are using? So what are the advantages of using the oops concepts? And what are all the topics we'll cover in the oops? So first of all, oops. So what is meant by oops? So oops means object oriented program. So oops means what? Object oriented program. So here one question will arise. So what is meant by object oriented programming? So what is meant by object oriented programming? So what is meant by object oriented programming? So it is the main purpose of the object oriented programming means so code reuse. So code reuse. So and what is the another advantage of the oops? So easily so we can write a program. So easily we can write a program. So without any complications. So without making any complications, so easily we can write the program. So and whatever the coding we return, so that code we can reuse again and again. So that is the difference between the structured oriented programming and object oriented programming. So what is the structured oriented programming here? So structured oriented programming. So there is only one particular structure will be available. So from top to bottom. So we have to follow that structure. So there is a no reuse there. So there A is there, we have to use here also A. There B is there, here also we have to use the B. So just for example. But object oriented means what? So once if I take my variable as a and we can reuse again and again. So that is the advantage of using the oops concept. Okay, so that is the main advantage of using oops concept. So what is meant by oops? Object oriented programming. So oops, object oriented programming. So what are all the topics we can cover in the oops means? So first of all, so what is meant by class? What is meant by class? So next, what is meant by method? Next, what is constructor? So next, inheritance. So next, polymorphism. So next, abstraction. So next, encapsulation. So encapsulation. So next, interface. So these are all the topics we are going to see in the oops. So first, class. So what is method? So what is constructor? What is inheritance? Polymorphism, abstraction, so encapsulation and interface. So these are all the topics we are going to cover in the oops concept. Okay. So first of all, so step by step we will see. So first, what is meant by class? So next, what is meant by method? So what is constructor? So what is inheritance? So what is polymorphism? So what is abstraction? So what is encapsulation? And what is meant by interface? So all the concepts one by one we will see. So not only in Java, so wherever you go, so the oops is only the So main important. The oops is only the main important. So now, first of all, we will see. So what is meant by class? What is meant by class? So what is meant by class? So up to now, we went to Eclipse. So for each and every program, we created a class. So what is meant by class? So what is meant by class means, so class is called structure of the program. Class is called structure of a program. The class is called structure of a program. Or we can tell, so class is a blueprint. So class is a blueprint of a program, and so collection of data members. Collection of data members. So these are all the definitions we can define for a class. So what is meant by class? So class is called a structure of a program, or class is a blueprint, or class is a collection of data members. So these are all the definitions so we can tell for the class. So what are all the definitions we can tell for the class? So class is a structure of a program. So class is a blueprint, or class is a data member. So why we are telling class is called structure of the program? So consider, so now I want to construct one building. So if I want to construct one building, so definitely I require a plan. So without plan, can we go and construct the building? So definitely it is not possible. So definitely for each and every building, we require one particular plan. So here the plan is nothing but class. So in Java program, so without class, can we start the program? Definitely it is not possible. For each and every program, so definitely we require a class. So without class, so we cannot start the coding. So that's why we can tell, so class is called a structure of the program. So the structure nothing but we can define as a blueprint. So then come to the collection of data members. So what are the data members? So methods, okay. So what are the data members? So method, constructor, inheritance, polymorphism, variables. So these everything will comes under the data members of a class. So these everything we can consider as a data members. So whatever we are writing in a class, so that everything is a data members, comes under data members. So now we will see how to write a class. So if you want to write a class, definitely we require one keyword called class. So class is a keyword, and class name, any name we can take. So class is a keyword. So here class name. So here what is a class here? So class is a keyword. Class is a keyword. So without this class keyword, we cannot start writing the coding. And next class name. So class name, any name we can take. So for example, I am taking demo. So if I want to write another class, so I can write class. But for each and everything, so the class is written class. So if I want to write, so definitely I require the class and class name. Okay, so class and class name. So with the help of the class and class name only, we can start writing the programming. Okay. So next we will see the practical examples of this class. So how to create a class. So up to now we created a class. So class is called the structure of the program. So without class can we write anything? So we cannot write anything without a class. Okay. So next concept in the OOPS is variables. So class and class. So now we will see the variables concept. Okay. So now I will open another file and I will show you. So variables. So variables. So what is meant by variable? So variable means name given to memory allocation. So what is meant by variable? So variable is a name given to memory allocation. So for example, you are mentioning a equals to 10. So 10 value I am storing in the a. So like this, how many variables we are having means, so 3 types of variables we are having. So first one is a local variable. So second one is a global variable. So third one is a static variable. So total how many types of variables we are having? So 3 types of variables we are having. So local variable, global variable and static variable. So first we will see the definition of the local variable. So local variable means what means? So local variable. So local variable declared. So local variable declared inside a method. So local variable is declared inside a method. So next variable, which variable? So global variable. So global variable declared, so inside a class. So global variable declared inside a class and outside a method. So global variable is declared inside a class and outside a method. So next is static variable. So we'll discuss later. So first we'll see about the local variable and global variable. So take some example. I am taking class and method here only. So class A. I am taking my class name is A. So inside a class I am taking my method. So public static void. So here what is a class and what is a method? So here, so what is a class and what is a method? So class A is a class, public static void main is a method. So now we will see the differences of the variable. So what is the local variable? So declared inside a method. So now if I give here int a equals to 10. So this will comes under which variable? So local variable. So local variable means what? So declared inside a method. So declared inside a method is called which variable? Local variable. So next, what is a global variable? So global variable declared inside a class. So this is inside a class and outside a method. So that variable is called global variable. So global variable means what? So declared inside a class and outside a method. So local variable means what? So declared inside a method. So declared inside a method is called which variable? Local variable. So declared inside a class and outside a method is called which variable? Global variable. And next observe the differences. So whenever we are using the local variable, okay, so directly we can write so system.out.println. So A. So it will print output as a 10. So local variable we can print directly. So just one example I will show you. So I am creating the class A. So now I am taking one local variable. So int A equals to 10. So system dot out dot println. So I am giving A. So what is the output it will print? So A it will print. A value 10 it will print the output. So in the same way I am taking the global variable. So global variable I am taking, for example, int x equals to 20. So this is a which variable? So global variable. So global variable. So directly we cannot call with the help of the system.out.println. So up to now, whatever the variables we use in the program is called local variable. So up to now, so whatever the variables we used in our program, so that variables is called the which variables? Local variables. So from now we are going to use the global variable. So whenever we are using the global variable, so definitely we have to create the object. So whenever we are using the global variable, so definitely we have to create the object for the global variable. And one more small identification for the global and local variable. So always the global variable color should be a blue color. Local variable color should be a some brown color. So local variable brown color, global variable blue color. So by using color difference also we can observe the difference between the global and local variables. Okay. So now I hope clear with the difference between the global and local variable. So local variables means what? So directly system.out.println we can print. But whenever we are using the global variable, definitely you have to create the object. So without creating the object, so we cannot call the global variable. So now we'll see what is object and how to create the object. So first of all, what is meant by object? So what is meant by object? So object is an reference of a class. So what is meant by object? So object is a reference of a class. So for example, take the movie theater. So how we can tell that is a movie theater? So screen is one object. So without screen, can we tell that is a movie theater? So we cannot tell. Why? So the movie theater is an object. So with the help of the object only, we can identify that particular thing. So here also, so what is the object? So object is a reference of a class. So for example, consider house is a class. Okay. So kitchen is a class. So how we can tell that is a kitchen? For example, cylinder will be available, gas stove will be available. So now bedroom. So how we can tell that is a bedroom? So bed is one object. So without bed, can we tell that is a bedroom? So we cannot tell. So these are called the references. So object is a reference of a class. So now we will see how to create the object. So now what we discussed? So always the global variable should be called with the help of the objects. So now we will see how to create the object. Okay. So now we will see how to create the object. So how to create the object means, so remove this local variable for a moment. So now what is the class name? So A is the class name. So A is a class name. and object. So object should be anything. Object should be anything we can take. So now I am taking OB is the object. So equals to new A. So this is a syntax for creating the object. So this is a syntax for creating the object. So now I will explain this syntax. So what is the syntax we created? So A object equals to new A. So now I will explain with this syntax. So what is the A here? So A is a class name. So now I will explain each and everything. So what is the A here? So A is a class name. So what is the OB? So OB is the object. So what is the new here means? So new is a keyword. And what is this A means? So this A only we can tell constructor. So this A only we can tell as a constructor. So now one by one we will see. So A is a class name. So what is the class we have taken? So A. So that A we mention here. So next for this A I am taking my reference is this object. So now this object will refer this A is a class. So next is new. So why here I am using the new and why here I am using the constructor means. So take one small example. So now I am giving A equals to 20. So what is the meaning of this? So 20 is going to store in 20 is going to store in A. So this is the meaning. So 20 is going to store in A. So here also same thing. So what is the same thing? Now I created one object. So for object I want to allocate some memory. So if I allocate my memory only, so internally my object will go and store. If I am not allocating the memory, how can my object will go and store? So for allocating the memory, we are using the new keyword. For allocating the memory, we are using the new keyword. So what is the use of the new keyword? So always it will. So it will. So allocate memory for the object. Okay. So how it will allocate the memory for the object? So with the help of the constructor. So with the help of the constructor. So constructor. So constructor means what? So it is also. So one of the. So what is the constructor? So it is also one of the memory. So constructor is also one of the memory and it will stores that object. And what it will do? It will stores that object. Okay. So whenever I am using the constructor here, so what is the advantage of using the constructor? So new will allocate the memory for the object. Okay. So now whenever if I want to call that object back, so this constructor is going to help. So see one small example. So I am giving int A equals to 10. So system.out.println A. So A means what is the output it is going to print? So 10 it is going to print. So A is going to store the 10 value. So here also same thing. So total the class reference I am keeping in object. So now what I am doing? So whenever if I call system.out.println, so object.A. So what is the, sorry not A. So what is the object? So object is a reference of a class name. So inside the A class only I declared the X variable. So how this object should be called here? So with the help of the new keyword and constructor. So internally new will allocate some memory for the object. So then what is the use of the constructor? So whenever I am calling this object again, so from that memory it will come and it will execute that object function. So now if I run, so what is the output it will print? So 20 is the output it will execute. So this is the way on what is the advantages of using this objects. Okay. So here object name, any name we can take. So instead of OB, so I can take O. So here instead of OB I can take the O. So object should be anything we can take. So object should be anything we can take. So what is the use of the new here? So it will go and allocate some memory for the object. And again if you want to call that memory, so definitely we require the constructor. So without constructor we cannot call that object. Okay. So see one more example. I am creating class B. So now inside the B I am taking int A equals to 10. So this is a which variable? So obviously this is a global variable. So how we are telling this is a global variable? So it is declared inside a class and outside a method. So if any variable will declare inside a class and outside a method, so that variable is a which variable? So global variable. So always the global variable should be called with the help of the object. So how we can create the object? So with the help of the class name. So now what is the class name? So B is the class name. So for the B I am taking X is the object equals to new B. So what is the constructor here? So B is the constructor. So one thing remember, so always the constructor name and class name should be same. So always the constructor name and class name should be same. So whenever you are calling this one, system.out.println, so X dot, so that A we can. So now what is the output it will print? So 10 is the output it will print. So this is the basic. So just intro of the OOPS concept. So what are the different types of variables we are using? So what is the advantages of using that variable? So what is object? So what is a class here? So class is called the structure of the program. So without structure, can we write anything? We cannot write anything. So what is the object? So object is a reference of a class. And what is a constructor? So constructor is used to call that object stored in the memory. So that object is storing in one memory. So that memory if I want to call, so definitely we require the constructor. Okay. So always the constructor name and class name should be same. Same only we have to take. Okay.